It's Bat Month. Forever. Yes, people, it is my third annual Bat Month, and no, it will not be the last Bat Month. Why am I doing Bat Month this October in 2013, you may ask? Well, there's this little game coming out around October 25th called Batman Arkham Origins. And for some of you newcomers to my channel who don't know exactly what Bat Month is, Bat Month is 1 month out of the year where I take a look at a bunch of materials regarding Batman in anticipation for a brand new upcoming big release of another Batman material, whether it be a Batman movie, animated movie, or video game. This all started back in October 2011 when I reviewed a bunch of Batman material for the upcoming new Batman game back then, Batman Arkham Origins. And I'm doing this yet again for Batman Arkham City way back in 2011. And I'm doing this yet again this year for October for the upcoming new release of the newest Batman video game, Batman Arkham Origins. So with that said, let's get this Batman started with my review of Batman Dark Victory. Why am I reviewing Dark Victory, you may ask? Well, way back in October of 2011, the very first thing that started off that Bat Month, as well as Bat Month in general, was Batman Long Halloween. This is a sequel to Batman Long Halloween, Batman Dark Victory, as the title says right there. So, it was kind of ideal that I start Bat Month off for the upcoming Batman Arkham Origins with my review of Batman Dark Victory. I mean, again, just kind of the ideal thing. But overall, I don't hate Batman Dark Victory in no meaning of the word. I don't absolutely hate it. I still like it. It's still one of my favorite Batman stories, but compared to The Long Halloween, this doesn't really hold up as much, which is kind of expected with most sequels. I mean, most sequels just aren't as good as the original. I mean, I can only name like maybe a handful, not really a whole lot, but this just kind of falls into that category. It's not really as good as the original or even better, but it still does hold up, and it still does stand on its own two legs. You know, it still is good. It's still decent, but I think the problem with it is what also a lot of sequels suffer from, which is it's exactly like the first book, or, movie sequels, it's exactly like the first movie. And that's the problem with Dark Victory. It's exactly the same plot as the last book. The plot for Long Halloween was that a killer known as the Holiday Killer was going around on, well, as the title entails, going around and killing members of the Falcone crime family on each and every holiday. Like, he kills a member of the Falcone crime family on Halloween or on Thanksgiving or on Christmas. You get the point. The plot for Dark Victory, like I said, is exactly the same, where a new killer in Gotham has arrived named the Hangman Killer, and he's a copycat killer of the Holiday Killer, where he goes around killing a certain group of people every single holiday, but instead of just simply shooting them with a pistol, like in the last book in Long Halloween, he uses a noose, or he uses a noose to hang cops. Yes, he's going around killing cops now, instead of the Falcone crime family, seeing as how in the last book, the Falcone crime family is pretty much dead. There's only a few living members, but most of the big guns, the big guys of the Falcone crime family are dead in the last, Long Halloween book. So now there's a new killer running around called the Hangman Killer, as I mentioned, picking off certain cops on certain holidays. As I've, told you just now, it really is the exact same plot. And that's something that a lot of sequels suffer from, sequelitis, where they can't help but copy the last movie, or they can't help copy the last book, and that's just something I really don't like about Dark Victory. The Long Halloween was a great Batman story. It reintroduced the character of Two-Face or Harvey Dent and made him a really badass, really up-to-date, just great character. And, this really... not only did that, Long Halloween do that, but it was just an interesting Batman story. It was a Batman story that not really a whole lot of people have seen, with Batman going up against the mob instead of just, his simple, super, powered villain like Mr. Freeze or Clayface or whatever. It was just a really interesting, really new Batman story. And to see this just kind of rehash the first book kind of contradicts that. I mean, it is by the same people, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. They do a great job with what they gave. But, again, the big drawing point and what's going to, put a lot of people off about this book is it's just a big rehash. It's still great. There still is a lot of original stuff in it that will keep you from absolutely hating it. But either way you look at it, it really is just a big rehash. And I've already said many times before, I fucking hate when sequels rehash the first movie or rehash the first book or whatever. Prime examples of this are movies like The Hangover 2, which, yeah, kind of a weird thing to bring up in Bat Month, but The Hangover 2, I absolutely despise because it's exactly the first movie. If I wanted to see the first movie again, I would see the first movie. I wouldn't pay to see the first movie again because I have it and I can just watch it for free. So, why would you want to see the exact same movie again? Yeah, sure, we like the first movie or we like the first book, but we don't want to pay to read it again. We'll just read it again. We don't want to read it, again here. But there are some other stuff that they do rehash from the Long Halloween that they do in here. One of them being the Hangman Killer. No, the Hangman Killer is not the same guy or person as, he was or, she was in Long Halloween. This is a new character. It is a new person, pulling off the crimes and murdering picking off the certain cops on certain holidays. But even the killer in this is related to the holiday killer in Long Halloween. I couldn't help but feeling that was just, again, another rehash. Like, really, you couldn't have made it another person. It does make some sense why the Hangman Killer would be doing what he or she is doing in Dark Victory, but couldn't you have just been a little bit original with that? And like, it just seems like a big rehash to me, and probably to a lot of other people. That was just something I really didn't enjoy in this. Yeah, it just seems like a big rehash, and it puts me off about the book. But there are a lot of stuff in this book that I really do like, which do keep me from absolutely despising it, which is, one, the introduction of Robin. Now, one of the best things about Long Halloween that I absolutely love, and everybody else does about that book, is a reintroduction of the character Two-Face. That pretty much brought Two-Face back into the light and actually made him like an A-list Batman villain. And, since then has gone on to be in a lot of stuff because of Long Halloween, such as The Dark Knight. Long Halloween was both a big inspiration for, The Dark Knight and, the characters of Two-Face. Because of that book, that's the reason why Two-Face is, shown off in The Dark Knight as he is. Which is great, and that's, again, Long Halloween is the reason for why we're seeing Two-Face in a lot more media, and why it's pretty much now been an A-list Batman villain, which is great to see. Because he definitely does deserve it. He's a great character. But something that I absolutely love about Dark Victory is the reintroduction of the character Robin. Now, at first, when I had read Dark Victory, when I first got it back in, last year in December, this was a Christmas gift, I thought the character Robin was pointless. He wasn't really... he really just... This is, when I first read it, but now I think, differently. When I first read this, I didn't really like the way Robin was done. He was barely in the story, and I thought he was going to be, a big, central part of the plot, but to me, when I first read it, he really didn't do a whole lot, and he was, introduced way too late into the story, almost at the tail end of the story, Robin was introduced at this, which I didn't really like. But now that, I've read it again in preparation for Bat Month, I actually realized that Robin actually does have a point to be in the story, which is he's one of the things that kind of brings back Bruce Wayne's humanity. Throughout the story, Bruce Wayne is rarely ever seen, and pretty much the persona of Batman has taken over Bruce Wayne's life, and he's now Batman 24/7 now. So Robin is brought in as one of the things that brings back Bruce Wayne's humanity as well as Batman's humanity. So I guess Robin actually does have a reason. I'm glad they made it that reason, because that's one of the reasons why I like Robin. He's Batman, pretty much Batman's adoptive son, Batman's first son, or, Bruce Wayne's first son. So, it does kind of make sense why you would have that, the son character, the essential son, father-son, story, be a way to get the main character back to its humanity. That's something that I really, really like. That was, it's great for the character Robin. It fits the character Robin perfectly. And I just love the character Robin, and this makes me love that character even more. It gives me a whole new look at the character. Robin's here because, Robin keeps the balance between Bruce Wayne and Batman and doesn't let one go over, the side a little bit too much. So that's something I really liked about this. Just the introduction of Robin. That was great. So yeah, that's about that. What else do I like about this? I wrote some notes, so let's see. The artwork I also really liked about this. Tim Sale, I believe, Tim Sale did the artwork, as it says right there. The artwork is great. I love the way Batman looks. I love the way Gotham looks. I love the way majority of his villains look, such as Two-Face and members of the Falcone crime family. I love Tim Sale's artwork, but one of the gripes I have about his artwork is the way that he draws the Joker. The Joker in Dark Victory and as well as The Long Halloween, I never liked. I always thought the Joker looked way too ridiculous and way too just stupid. The Joker in, Dark Victory and Long Halloween always seemed to me like a caricature of the Joker. He just looked way too ridiculous. And maybe, I guess that was his intentions, like maybe that was the point, like the Joker is a ridiculous, crazy clown. Maybe that was the reason why he made him look ridiculous, but I just don't like that. I think I'm more used to art, like cartoon or artwork versions of the Joker, like from Batman the Animated Series, the first couple seasons, that when they redid the Joker and made it look like Mickey Mouse. That was stupid. But the Joker just looks way too ridiculous to me. It looks more like a caricature of the Joker than the actual Joker in this. In fact, I'm actually going to pull a page and show you just how ridiculous the Joker looks in this. I mean, come on, how is that not ridiculous? It just looks really, really stupid to me. I mean, if this were a clown that were, sitting at the edge of my bed at night, I'd probably still shit my pants because I hate the fucking clown at the end of your bed at night for no reason. But then after he had left, I would have thought to myself, you know what, he wasn't really that scary. I just wasted a good pair of pants and underwear for nothing, so what the shit? But, he just looked ridiculous to me, and I really don't like that the main Batman villain, Batman's arch enemy, Batman's main antagonist, gets sort of the shit end of the stick when it comes towards character design. I mean, he doesn't look horrible. I could still live with it. I still find it alright, but, he just looks maybe a little bit too ridiculous for me, and that's just something I really don't like. Now, I know that sounds like I'm shitting on this, and I'm not really, giving this a whole lot of, doesn't really sound like I'm giving us a whole lot of positive points or anything, but I really am trying to. I still like Long Halloween, Dark Victory. I don't hate it. It still is one of my favorite Batman stories of all time, but there just is a lot of problems that keep me from absolutely enjoying it. But I still, again, do love Dark Victory, and it's one of my all-time favorite Batman stories. In fact, the four, there's certain Batman stories that I consider the definitive Batman stories, and I think the four definitive Batman stories, comic book-wise, not movie-wise, but the four definitive Batman comics or graphic novels would go in this order. Year One, Long Halloween, Dark Victory, and The Dark Knight Returns. And I consider all four of those books as, that they're all in canon, they're all in the same continuity. And I know a lot of people will disagree because, well, Year One came out, after Dark Knight Returns, and both Long Halloween and Dark Victory came out way after both those books, but I kind of consider them to be all as a part of canon. There isn't, a main story flowing through all of them. I just like to consider them all in the same Batman universe a little bit. Maybe they are, I don't know, but, I like to consider that at least. I mean, Batman Year One introduced both Detective Flass, and Commissioner Loeb. Commissioner Loeb and Detective Flass, kind of a spoiler alert, but, it's not that big of a deal, are both killed off in Dark Victory, so they have appeared in this, and they are existing in the Long Halloween universe, Long Halloween book, even though they don't make an appearance in that. Frank Miller wrote both Dark Knight Returns and Year One, so I guess you can kind of consider all of them in canon. Those are just my, the definitive Batman comic books. Those are just the definitive Batman graphic novels, in my opinion. There's my favorite stories of all time. And this book has actually gotten a lot of good talk among many people. One of them being Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan has said, on and on before, that Dark Victory is one of the Batman comics or graphic novels, whatever you would like to call it, that helped him, make the Dark Knight trilogy. In fact, a lot of stuff from Dark Victory is brought up, a lot of stuff from Dark Victory is sort of done in The Dark Knight Rises. That's the one I can mention the most. I mean, Bruce Wayne is affected by some of the events in The Long Halloween. The Long Halloween helped make The Dark Knight, and, Bruce Wayne is completely affected and completely just shattered by the events that happened in The Dark Knight. He's a recluse. He doesn't really talk to Commissioner Gordon. He's not Batman anymore. Well, he's Batman in this, but he's not really in the public eye in The Dark Knight, even though he is here. But he's just sort of a recluse. Bruce Wayne's not seen as much. He's not really talking to anybody anymore. That stuff from Dark Victory that is done in The Dark Knight Rises. And again, that helped him, this comic has helped him, Christopher Nolan, make, a big part of the Dark Knight trilogy, and he's also said that this is one of his favorite Batman comics of all time, and even Christian Bale has mentioned that this is one of his favorite Batman graphic novels of all time. The man who played Batman said this is one of his favorite graphic novels of Batman, ever, right next to Year One or The Long Halloween. And, I'm inclined to agree. I still like Dark Victory. I in no way, shape, or form hate it, but it does have a lot of big problems. It does seem like a big rehash from, Long Halloween. But I still enjoy it. I'm still going to give it a, average rating of a 7 out of 10. I'd probably give Dark Victory, Long Halloween, probably like a 9, maybe a 9.5, or hell, even maybe a 10 out of 10. But this just, is not as good as that, and it just seems like a big rehash of that, so I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. I guess you consider this a Halloween-related video because this is a sequel to The Long Halloween, and the reason why it was called The Long Halloween and that was because the crime started on Halloween, and they just thought, and many people thought that this was just a giant, long, drawn-out event, with all the holiday killings of Long Halloween, and they all thought it was a Long Halloween, and this is the sequel to Long Halloween, and there's actually a moment where it takes place on Halloween, so I guess you consider this a Halloween-related video for October. I mean, it is going to be Halloween in, 28 days? Yeah. But no, seriously, I probably will do a Halloween-related video at the end of the month on Halloween. Who knows if I have the time. But that about does it for my review of Batman Dark Victory. I do definitely recommend it for some of you guys, but if you're a big fan of Long Halloween and you want to read the sequel, you're going to be a bit disappointed, but you'll still enjoy it. It still is an incredibly enjoyable story, so I still recommend it. But that about does it for my first video of Bat Month. I'll be back next week with yet again another Batman-related video. Riddle, or a clue, towards what it is it all started at the beginning. So, I'm just going to keep it at that. But, yeah, this is about it for my review of Dark Victory. I'll see you guys next week with another Batman-related video. Same movies, time, same rule channel. I'll see you guys then. Also, actually, no, not yet. This Bat Month, compared to my last Bat Month back in July 2012, is going to be very low-key. Not because I didn't have a lot of Batman material to work with. I did. But I want to save a lot of more Batman stuff for later Bat Months and later Batman projects. So that about does it. That's all I have to say. Same movies time, same rule channel. I'll see you guys next week. That's about it.